Okay guys, this is the fourth and final part in this series of interviews I have for you. This is the interview with Solon in the Animedia Magazine here. He talks about a lot of different things. You're going to find out soon. And before we get into it, I just want to say that I hope that you have enjoyed all this as well. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to make sure that these words were as true and faithful to what the voice actors were saying. And I've seen a lot of people say that they're really happy about this, and I'm really glad that you enjoyed this as well. Like I said, this is the fourth video in this four-part installment of interviews here. The first two were from the Pash magazine here. This is this one. Where they have interviews for Brant, Rocia, Carlotta, Phoebe, Zanny, and then in this one here we have the interviews for Rover, male Rover, female Rover, Jinshi, and now in this video, Solon. So if this is the first video you're watching in this series, you might be wondering, what are Pash magazine and Animedia magazine? Animedia is a Japanese monthly anime magazine by IID, first published on June 9th, 1981. So it has been around longer than I have been alive. So this is one of the OG types of anime magazines out there. It actually says here it is one of the top 3 anime magazines and one of the top 10 best-selling anime magazines in all of Japan. And when it comes to Pash magazine here, a bit of information on Pash magazine. Pash is a Japanese anime magazine published by Shufu in Seikatsusha. It is the first magazine in the industry to focus on anime for women, and has been described by fellow publisher Kadakawa as a pioneer of anime magazines. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Solon, please tell us what inspired you to create Wuthering Waves, and what were you aiming for during development? The reason is actually quite simple. We were always looking to take on new challenges and explore new directions. Wuthering Waves was born from the desire to create something new, something that had never been seen before with the open world genre. I wanted to create a world that players could immerse themselves in, and a work in which they could feel growth and change. I also want players to have an experience they've never had before through the stories of the characters in Wuthering Waves. Please tell us about the genres that influence Wuthering Waves: Hollywood movies, CG animation, TV dramas, etc. This work is not just an anime-style game, but seems to incorporate a realistic feel into the visual expression. Our team is made up of many members who love anime, comics, games, and movies. During development, we took a lot of inspiration from classic Japanese games such as Devil May Cry and the Nier series. The brilliant action and exhilarating combos of Devil May Cry are elements that we find particularly appealing. We incorporated that essence into the combat in Wuthering Waves, along with Nier's epic story and musical expression, which is an ideal style for us. In Wuthering Waves, we placed importance not only on the visuals being beautiful, but also on giving the worldview within the game a sense of reality. For example, we incorporated minute details into the design of the environment. We were particular about creating effects that players could empathize with, such as the faint light shining in the ruins and the subtle changes in the characters' expressions. I think Wuthering Waves is a work with truly beautiful visual expression. What do you keep in mind when beautifully depicting a desolate and gritty world? In the world of Wuthering Waves, we place great importance on contrast. The desolate world building and beautiful visuals may seem to be in conflict at first, but in fact they coexist in an exquisite balance. We want players to experience the beauty in cruelty and also the hope in despair as they explore. For example, even in the most unfavorable circumstances, we express a faint glimmer of hope through the use of light and color. The message that we want to convey is that no matter how broken the world is, there is still hope. How did you create the complex and unique worldview and setting of Wuthering Waves? The core theme of the worldview for Wuthering Waves is growth. We aim for the player to experience making changes to the world through their exploration. For example, we incorporated elements like completing a certain quest will permanently change the landscape of the world. We also paid particular attention to the unique setting of Wuthering Waves. The echoes that appear in the game are a special piece of equipment that combines the technology of ancient civilizations with the power of nature. When creating these, we looked to myths and sought to strike a balance between fantasy and reality by referring to documents on ancient technology. In addition, the new area, Rinascita, is inspired by marine ecosystems and island culture. The art team actually went to Italy to research and were inspired by the water city of Venice and the history of Rome. These elements combine a realistic beauty and fantastical charm in the world of Wuthering Waves. We want players to have a unique and immersive experience in this world where reality and fantasy intersect. Please tell us what you pay attention to when creating attractive characters and any key points you keep in mind when creating them. We believe the appeal of character lies in their story and individuality. When designing a character, we first thoroughly explored their background and placed great importance on putting a soul into each character. For example, in Wuthering Waves, there's a female character called Phoebe. She is an acolyte of the Order of the Deep and gives the impression of being kind and devout in her faith, but she also has suffered deep sorrow in losing her family in a shipwreck in the past. A small locket containing her treasured family photo once sank into the sea, but it was pulled up to the surface by a friend. This locket is filled with her thoughts and love for her family. Although she is usually calm and sincere, she hides warm love and also sadness inside too. Her resonant skill materializes light and expresses that hope and warmth. This also symbolizes her faith and kindness too. We want players to gradually discover their charms through their interactions with these characters and build emotional connections with them. Please tell us if there were any cutscenes that were particularly difficult to make or any scenes you would like everyone to see. Producing cutscenes in an open world was a big challenge. How to blend the story and visual direction naturally was a point we went through a lot of trial and error with. For example, in version 2.0's Renacita, we paid particular attention to the camera work and rhythm of the direction to express the ecosystem and sense of life where echoes and resonators coexist. We also produced other story cutscenes and have released them on YouTube. We hope that this will allow players to more strongly experience the various camps and differences in power in the world of Wuthering Waves. It's been said that Phoebe's Resonator Showcase was inspired by a famous Japanese anime. Any comment about that? To be honest, our team is inspired by many masterpieces. However, rather than simply imitating them, we made it a point to express them as original characters. For example, even in Phoebe's trailer, we dug deep into her personality and background and created it without intentionally imitating any particular work. We hope that players will be able to feel her unique charm and presence through her trailer. How do you decide who voices the characters? The most important thing when casting voice actors is their compatibility with the character. By choosing the voice actor that best matches each character's personality and background, the characters are portrayed more vividly. For characters who convey warmth, we chose a more patient voice actor, and for more cool, mysterious characters, we chose a calm and collected voice actor. We also value feedback from Japanese players and strive to provide as much satisfaction as possible. I think many players are looking forward to Zanny. Could you tell us how you came up with her fantastic design? Similarly, tell us about Brand too. Zanny's design concept was born from a search for a sense of maturity and also contradiction. She is a character with great depth, and while she has an intellectual and mature side, she also enjoys life freely and sticks to her own style. Through her, we wanted to express a philosophy of life that could best be described as energy conservation. By no means this means laziness, but rather an emphasis on maintaining a good balance between life and work. Zanny's charm lies in the fact that she avoids socializing unnecessarily and does not pander to others, but when the time comes, she's very reliable and has a mature presence. When designing her, the team had many discussions about the contradiction between corporate slavery and freedom in modern society. She's not just a fantastical heroic character in a video game, but feels like a character more closer to reality. She is someone who can make choices and puts her limited energy into what is truly important to her. This energy management philosophy is also the message I want to convey to players through her. As for Brand, the core design revolves around freedom and memories. He is a romantic yet sincere person, a free-spirited adventurer and a storyteller with many different stories to tell. His freedom is never recklessness, however, but rather a resistance to constraints and a pursuit of one's own way of life. He has experienced many separations and losses in his life, but rather than ending them in sadness, he has embraced them with theatre and smiles, becoming the guardian of memory of those who would otherwise have been forgotten. His charm lies in his light-hearted tone and theatrical expressions that make him seem friendly and approachable to others. He is the leader of a theatre troupe and also the captain of a ship, and in both roles he cares deeply for people. Even though he may wear a mask on stage, he always remains his natural self in front of the people he cares about. Through him, we hope to convey to the players the spirit of living and shining as yourself, even in a cruel world. Are you open to collaborating with Punishing Grey Raven in the future? Any thoughts about collaborations with other IP too? Punishing Grey Raven and Wuthering Waves are both owned by Kuro Games, so there is a strong possibility of a collaboration. We will also actively attempt to collaborate with other IP and strive to provide players with a better experience. Okay guys, that is the end of the video, but it's not the end of the interview. Much like they had at the end of the Male Rovers interview here, it actually says at the bottom down here that this interview is going to be continued in the next issue. So there's going to be some more questions asked and answered of Solon in the next issue of that. So look forward to the 5th installment next month, I'm guessing, of these interviews. So make sure you have subscribed if you want to find out more about that in the future. Also, don't forget that this week on April 19th, 3 days from now, there's going to be a live stream for the 1-year anniversary of Wuthering Waves. I will be watching that. I will be having like a watch party on there. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to follow on either Twitch or YouTube, whichever you prefer, because I'll be streaming to both of them. And always don't forget to like and comment, because that greatly supports the channel in terms of algorithms. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.